It was a gray morning in the small town of Pedra Serena, a village hidden among the mountains and surrounded by a vast forest. Children played in the square, and the sound of church bells softly echoed through the old houses. No one imagined that this day would change everything. In the alleys, a dirty, skinny stray dog watched silently. He was called Thunder by the children, who adored him, though adults saw him as just another ownerless mutt. But Thunder had watchful eyes, and a heart larger than many humans. Among all the children, there was one Thunder protected with extra care, little Pedrinho, just 6 years old. The boy, fatherless, was raised by his single mother who worked all day long. Thunder followed Pedrinho to school, waited at the door, and escorted him back home. They shared bread, affection, and silence. The bond between them was more than friendship. It was a silent promise of protection. No one could touch Pedrinho while Thunder was nearby. On a hot afternoon, Pedrinho decided to follow his classmates on a trail into the forest, where they said there was a secret waterfall. His mother had forbidden it, but curiosity spoke louder. As always, Thunder accompanied him. The trees soon became denser, and the sounds of the city disappeared. The children's laughter echoed among the branches, but something about that forest felt wrong. Thunder began to growl softly, sniffing the air with unease. His instincts screamed danger. The children, unaware of the animal's tension, kept playing. Pedrinho lagged behind, clutching his friend's fur. That's when a muffled sound of breaking branches arose. It wasn't a child or an adult. It was something heavy, stealthy, watching. While the others headed toward the waterfall, Pedrinho wandered from the group, drawn by a noise in the trees. Thunder tried to stop him, but the boy insisted. They found themselves alone, and at that moment the forest fell into complete silence. No birds, no wind, only the sound of fear itself. And then, from the shadows, 2 yellow eyes emerged. The Jaguar advanced slowly, silent as the night. Its muscles rippled beneath its golden skin, and its eyes fixed on Pedrinho reflected an ancient hunger. Thunder placed himself between the beast and the boy. His small body trembled, but not with fear. It was pure determination. A deep growl escaped his throat. This was no ordinary dog. He was a guardian. The Jaguar leapt with force, and Thunder faced it without hesitation. The impact threw both to the leafy ground. Claws slashed the air and teeth clashed. Pedrinho screamed, paralyzed. Blood began to stain the earth. Thunder fought with everything he had, not for himself, but for the boy he had come to love like a son. The fight was brutal. Thunder was at a disadvantage, his body smaller, his strength limited. But he bit, dodged, and faced the Jaguar like an ancient warrior. In his eyes burned an unyielding flame. Each wound only seemed to fuel his fury. The forest watched in silence, as if paying respect to that sacred battle. Still trembling, Pedrinho found a rock and with fragile hands threw it at the Jaguar. It caused no harm but drew its attention. For a brief moment the beast was distracted, and it was enough for Thunder to leap at its neck. It was a last, desperate attempt, but a powerful one. Thunder's growl echoed through the forest like a real thunderclap. Wounded, the Jaguar backed off. It hadn't expected such resistance. With a roar, it disappeared into the woods. Thunder collapsed to the ground, exhausted and bleeding. Pedrinho ran to him, hugging his warm body. The boys, tears mixed with the dog's blood. Thunder was still breathing, but with difficulty. His eyes searched for Pedrinho's, and with a final effort, his tail wagged. Pedrinho couldn't lift Thunder. The dog's body was covered in cuts, and his chest heaved with labored breaths. Desperate, the boy cried for help, but the forest gave no answer. That's when the other kids returned, drawn by the sounds of the fight. One boy ran to town, while the others helped Pedrinho place Thunder on an improvised blanket. The walk back was slow and silent. Each step was like a lament. In town, the only veterinarian, Dr. Alvaro, rushed out at the sight. Seeing Thunder, he shook his head sadly. The wounds were grave, and the animal had lost much blood. Even so, he decided to try. He closed the clinic, ignoring the clock. He worked through the night with Pedrinho sitting at the door, waiting, praying, his eyes swollen from crying. "Please, God, save Thunder," he whispered endlessly. The hours passed like centuries. Thunder wavered between life and death. He received fluids, stitches, medication. At times, his heart nearly stopped. Dr. Alvaro fought as if he were the dog's father. The whole town began to gather in front of the clinic, neighbors, teachers, children. No one had imagined that this stray dog was so important. But now everyone knew. Thunder was a hero. The next morning, Dr. Alvaro emerged with red eyes and a tired expression. He looked at Pedrinho and nodded. He's alive for now. The boy ran inside and found Thunder lying down, with tubes and bandages all over his body. His eyes barely opened, but when they saw Pedrinho, they glowed faintly. His tail wagged, once. Emotion exploded. Pedrinho hugged the dog gently, sobbing. Moved by Thunder's courage, the townspeople decided to come together. They raised money to cover treatment costs, brought food, blankets, toys. A school launched a campaign, a four-legged hero. Posters were hung with Thunder's image. The dog no one wanted was now loved by all. Even the mayor came to visit. The dog. The story began to spread across the region. The following days were a roller coaster. Thunder would improve, then worsen. An infection threatened his recovery. Pedrinho never left his side. He slept on the clinic floor, ate poorly. But his presence seemed to give Thunder strength. Slowly the dog began to eat, lift his head, take small steps. Every movement was celebrated as a victory. After weeks of struggle, Thunder was finally discharged. When he stepped into the square again, children ran to him. Pedrinho guided him with a new blue leash, bought with the town's donations. Thunder walked slowly, but with dignity. A group of musicians played in the bandstand in his honor. There were banners, flowers, and even an improvised medal. Our guardian. The city offered a shelter, but Pedrinho refused. He looked at his mother with pleading eyes. She smiled and, moved, said, "He's part of the family now." Thunder got a little house in the backyard, good food, baths, and love. He was no longer a stray. He was part of Pedrinho's life forever. Cold nights were no longer lonely, and days became lighter. Thunder's story spread. News reports were made, videos shared online. A children's publisher released a book about his bravery. In schools, he became an example of loyalty and courage. But above all, what touched people the most was the friendship between a boy and a dog no one wanted. The love between them turned tragedy into a miracle. Years passed. Pedrinho grew up and became a veterinarian, inspired by the one who saved his life. Thunder lived to his last days surrounded by love, passing away peacefully in his friends' arms. Today there is a statue in Pedro Serena's square, a boy holding hands with a dog. On the plaque, a simple phrase, "Courage has no size, it has heart." And whenever someone walks by, they feel something different, as if Thunder were still watching over every child in the town.